Hello everyone, I'm here at the Whiskey A Go Go again. I was here not too long ago with another great musician, Jeff Tate, and now I am with another amazing singer, Blaze. Blaze, how are you doing?
Okay.
Okay, so tell me, you are doing this trilogy. Tell me about the story.
The trilogy is called The Infinite Entanglement, and it's a story that goes over 3 albums. Part 1 was called Infinite Entanglement. Part 2, which we are on tour with right now, is called Endure and Survive. And part 3 will be out next year on the 1st of March. The story is based around one central character, and he does not know if he is human. It's set into the future. What has happened, his consciousness has been downloaded into a machine body, and so he feels human, he thinks as a human, but he has no flesh and blood. It's a machine body, and he has to redefine himself. Is he human? And it is the start of a space mission to discover an Earth-like planet discovered by Kepler Space Telescope across the other side of the universe. And on this journey, which is part 2, the Endure and Survive album, then he finds out a lot more about himself. He has to endure the journey of 1,000 years because there is no faster than light travel. And as he gets closer to this new planet, to this new world, he discovers that he was never meant to reach it. And the ship itself and the central computer try to destroy him and throw him into space just like garbage. And so he has to survive this attempt on his life, on his existence. And that's the story of the Endure and Survive album. And what we experience, of course, are much darker things than the first album. On the Infinite Entanglement album, then there is a sense of expectation, going to a new world where you have no past, no history, no regrets, and you leave behind everything bad as well as some of your identity and the good things. And so far it's gone really, really well.
How do you come up with this story? Is
It
something personal?
started, when I did my Soundtracks of My Life album, I wanted to do a couple of new songs. I knew my fans would get that anyway as a compilation, especially the ones that collect everything. And one of the songs, it was just a bit of an idea with my friend Rick Plester, was called Eating Children. And it's about the death of our sun, which when it dies will become a red dwarf and consume all of the planets in the solar system. But of course, all of the planets in the solar system are actually formed from fragments that were left over from the formation of the sun. So metaphorically, it is eating its own children. And I thought, if you know about this, that is going to happen, and you have enough money, perhaps like the late Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, then you could launch your own private space mission to go to one of the Earth-like planets that have been discovered. In 2020, Euclid goes up, and that space telescope will gather more data than any telescope ever in the history of the world. All of the telescopes in history will not have gathered as much data as Euclid will in its first month. It's going to be incredible, and we're going to be able to look closer at these Earth-like planets, and we're going to be able to see a lot more about what's there. It's an incredibly exciting time. So with my imagination, I just imagined what would happen No heavy metal singers or journalists are going to be asked on that mission to go to the New World. It will be people who can afford to go. It will be the elite, the self-appointed secret rulers of the world we have now. They will go to the new planet. And that is what my story is about. So it came from that small idea that our sun will die. And if you have enough money, you'll be able to escape.
There's any coincidence that Jeff is doing another trilogy? Did you?
Absolutely no coincidence whatsoever. It's nothing to do. I've had no ideas from Jeff whatsoever. I started this from that moment when I had the idea of the song Eating Children. And then when we came to do our new studio album, I'd started writing this science fiction story about a man who does not know if he is human. And that book will come out in March of 2019, the book that all the songs, everything that we've done is based around this science fiction story that I'm writing myself. So it's had no influence at all. And my whole idea was to go, to make sure the albums were at the most 12 months apart. And I think Jeff's trilogy is taking a lot longer than that.
Yeah, just saying, maybe. Because you were together with Trinity.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with it. I started and I had my 3 albums mapped out before Trinity. I've got a map on my wall in my studio of all the characters, how they connect. We have a lists of songs that we might work on.
Wow. How was your experience? I mean, I told you that I talked to Jeff right here. And how was your point of view of Trinity?
It was great. It was a lot of fun. It's something that we would have liked to have a much longer run of shows, but we could only find that amount of time in our schedules. Tim is an incredible vocalist and so funny. He's like the Bill Hicks of heavy metal. Jeff is a lovely guy and a fantastic singer. And I think the 3 voices are so different and the styles of presentation are very different as well, that it really worked. We had a lot of fun on that tour. I made a lot of new fans and it worked really, really well. It's something that we all really enjoyed doing. Now I'm committed. We book over a year in advance. I have part 3 of my album to make and promote. Then at the end of the tour next year, we are going to be in France on, I think it's the last Saturday in May, which I think is the 24th or 25th. And we're going to record a live album and DVD. And then
after Blaze Bayle, right?
Yes, yeah. And I'm producing that myself. Then after that, then I'm got another Wolfsbane album that I want to do with the guys, all the original lineup. While we're all still alive, we want to make another Wolfsbane album. After that, I'm committed myself to do an acoustic album. So I don't really see any time in the future where I'll be able to fit that in.
Any good memory? I gotta ask this, because you're Iron Maiden fans. Any part of in your time with Iron Maiden that you can say this is the best moment that I have?
No, not really. There were so many great moments, and we played incredible, huge gigs to 60, 70,000 people, and we also played some smaller gigs. I was lucky enough to be in a band at a time where they went to a lot of new places. They played Israel for the first time, and a couple of the gigs there were quite small, and it was great for me, having been an Iron Maiden fan and loved the band and the music for so long, to be in a situation where, wow, this must be what it was like when they started in a smaller place. So I really enjoyed those smaller places. The best thing about the whole experience for me was working with Steve Harris, songwriting, and working with Steve Harris in the studio, discovering parts of my voice that I didn't even know about before. And the parts of my voice and those lessons, he was like a mentor to me. His genius songwriting, that I was able to learn a little bit about the way he put songs together. And I've used that on my Infinite Entanglement and Endure and Survive album. And the voice that I have now is the way it is because of that work that I did in Iron Maiden and in the studio and writing with Steve Harris. So those 5 years and those 2 albums have been a huge influence on my style, and I'm not the singer that I was before Iron Maiden. I have a different style. I've discovered so many things about my voice, and I'm able to use that in the work that I do now. So really, it's those lessons that have lived with me. And to have a #1 single with Man on the Edge, and it's a song that I wrote the lyric and the melody for, is incredible to say that in your career as a musician, that you had a #1. In some countries of the world, it went to #1. X Factor album in some countries knocked Madonna off the top of the charts as well at that time. So it's incredible, and I've been able to sing so many wonderful songs. I really enjoyed on tour singing the older stuff from Bruce and from Paul, and I've been a part of The Klansman, Man on the Edge, Sign of the Cross, Judgment of Heaven, Lord of the Flies, really big songs with a lot of scope and an incredible amount of emotion on the X Factor record. Now X Factor and Virtual 11 are re-released on vinyl, and when fans bring those albums to the show for me to sign, it's with a great deal of fondness that I look back on those albums and the great music we did. And X Factor really started the era of Iron Maiden, of the progressive era of Iron Maiden. After that, you could see that things had changed slightly in the approach to the songwriting, more longer, detailed songs, more songs with a musical journey. So it was a great time for me being with Iron Maiden, and that influence lives with me every day with my work that I do with Bayle solo project and going forward.
If you were calling by Iron Maiden to do a show with all the surviving members, maybe Paul included, will you accept it?
Yeah, if the money was right, definitely, But no, I don't really care about any money at all. I never did it for the money. I did it because of the great music. The most important part about being in Iron Maiden was the incredible music that I got to sing and be a part of. So, yeah, I wouldn't rule that out. I had an idea a while ago that if you could get the 3 singers up, it would be great for the fans, and do a couple of shows with the 3 singers. It would be really fun. I don't think that would ever happen, but it's a really fun idea.
I saw you love Ronnie James Dio. He was your biggest influence, right?
Yeah, Ronnie James Dio was the point at which I started my journey as a singer in Birmingham at Birmingham Odeon, a small gig by many standards. Every single touring band from Metallica to Bon Jovi and Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and Ronnie James Dio went through Birmingham Odeon on their tours. And I saw Ronnie James Dio in my hometown of Birmingham singing Children of the Sea, and that moment changed my life.
So playing in Argentina, how was your experience going there? I am from Argentina, that is why.
Well, it was... the fans in Argentina were absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And I met some wonderful fans, and I did a meet and greet after every show in Argentina. I think perhaps some of the venues don't respect the fans very much. But I just did the best that I could. And we did a meet and greet after every show. I sang the best that I could, and I had a great time there. And next year, I hope to take my own band with me, the regular touring band, which is the guys from Absolver. They have their own band, and then they are my backup band when I tour. I'm hoping to take the guys from Absolver to be my backing band throughout South America to go to Argentina as well.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, on the tour, sadly, when I was singing Como Estas Amigos, which is a song which has a deep meaning for me and my relationship personally with Argentina, then there were problems with the sound and the mic broke and I had to sing it a cappella. Thank you for your continued support. Please check out blazebayley.net for news about part 3. It will come out on the 1st of March 2018. And until then, thank you, thank you, thank you. Be safe, be lucky, be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man.
Cheers.